We are live.
Hi, everybody. I just want to say welcome to the Waiting Game, Chapter 35. I am Victoria L, and we have my sister over here to the right, I think, or left, whatever you see. Maggie, please say hello to the people. I just want to say welcome to the Waiting Game.
Hey, everyone.
Okay, and below her is Miss Tanya. Say hello to the people.
Hey, everybody.
And today we have a special couple. I told you guys we were having a new couple. And this is Miss Trista and Mr. Kenton. Don't mess up your last name. Dazzel. Boom. Okay, so I met them. I'm going to say how I met them. I met them in this political arena. Everyone who knows me knows my parents are political. They in the political arena. So they asked me to come to this event, and I said, sure. And we had this couple. And this young couple, and they were taking pictures. So you're going to plug that too, what they do. And I said, and I was just talking to Trista, and I said, okay, well, let me hear what your story. Just, I talk to everybody. So I said, let me hear your story. She told me her story, and I said, boom, we want you on the show. So here they are. So here we go. Trista and Kenton, tell us a little bit about you guys.
Okay, you want to start?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to do better at listening and not interrupting and talking. So I definitely wanted to let him go first. But thank you so much for having us on your show. I met Kenton 12 years ago. I was studying abroad in South America. I was studying medicine. And I guess God sent me to South America not to become a doctor, but to find a husband. Well, for a husband to find me. And so I was studying abroad, and I actually was really excited because I was 25, about to be 26. And, I was at a point in my life where I'm like, these relationships aren't really working out for me. It was just at a space in Atlanta where it was like 7 guys to 1 girl. And I was like, I'm tired of this whole game. And I really want to focus on myself, and whatever God has for me, that's what I'm gonna do. And so I went on to South America, and when I got there, I used to be a personal trainer for years and a fitness director at Bally Total Fitness. And I was studying medicine because I loved wellness, and I just thought the whole being was good. And I was like, you know what, I really need to study medicine, and I wanted to go abroad to get a different perspective on life. And one of my clients had provided me with this book. It was a small book, and it was called A Knight in Shining Armor. And I wanted to read it, but it was like the first page was like, you have to sign this and commit to 6 months of not dating and all this stuff.
Oh.
And only spend your time that you would spend dating with God or with Jesus or expanding your relationship with God. And so with me going to South America, I was in a dual program. My aspirations were to be an MD, MBA. So I was in a rigorous program. I do have my MBA. But while I was down there, I read the book. And literally on the 7th month after I read the book, because I did commit to it, and it was so much easier because I was in Guyana. I'm like, I don't want nobody here. I just want to focus on me. And I didn't have any, nobody messaging me, calling me. I barely even used my phone. I was studying so much. And so on the 7th month after reading, which was in August, I just happened to be going to a corner shop. And as I turned the corner, and I'm like, where I was going, I could see a person that had on white. It just kind of from a distance looked cute. And I was like, look at me today. I was like, oh my God. I was like, it's very humid there. And so it had rained. And so my hair was all big, and it's near the equator. So of course I got these little shorts and stuff. And I see this guy, I'm like, oh Lord, look at me today. I'm like, I'm just going to get what I need to get, because my mind wasn't on relationships or anything like that. So when I met the girl who was, had the store, she was like, oh, Kenton, this is Trista. She's a doctor. They called me a doctor because I was a student doctor over there, and he was a nurse at the hospital there. And so I was like, oh, nice to meet you. But he was standing, he was sitting. First of all, I just want to tell you, my husband, he is known to be so cool and laid back. Everybody calls him Mr. Cool. He's so laid back, and he literally was drinking a lemonade, just shooting the breeze, just drinking a lemonade. And I met him. And so after, I'm very personable. So when she told me he was a nurse at the hospital, I was like, hi. And I guess he heard my voice. And then anyway, we introduced, we said hello, and then I left. And then like, I felt like now his story may be different, but after I left this stoop, I'm like, why do I feel like a shadow behind me? I turn around and he's right there. And I'm like, wow. And he was cute, I was looking.
Yeah.
So he's shaking my hand, and because his accent was like really strong, I'm like, what is this guy saying? I'm like, he's like, what's your name? And I'm like, what? I'm like, so close. What? We're close. And then he's still holding my hand. I'm like, this guy's still shaking my hand. He asked for my number, and I have never given my number out, and I had given it to him. And so as I'm walking back to my place, I'm like, I hear my phone ringing, and my phone had never rang because the people that called me were in America. And this is before WhatsApp and all that stuff. So I was using like Yahoo Messenger and stuff. So my phone is ringing. I'm like, oh Lord, why I give this man my number? And honestly, it was the best decision I made, because after I picked up that phone, like every day, he would call me after school, nothing to like disturb my flow or anything, but he would call me just to see how I was doing. And he kept calling me, hey, beautiful. I'm thinking I'm beautiful, I'm thinking,
Okay,
We'll tell you why we laughed at that one.
He doesn't know my
I couldn't
name.
remember your name.
He didn't know my name, y'all. So anyway, so he was calling me, hey, beautiful, for 2 weeks, y'all. But what was so crazy was the book really taught me a lot about myself. So I knew that before this point that I'm a very assertive person. So I recognized that when I saw a guy that I liked, I would pursue, those guys. And this book was just turning me upside down. It really changed my viewpoints on, how I was actually acting and carrying myself around a guy that I'm looking forward to, settling down with, because I didn't want to play any games anymore. And it just so happened that he was at the same exact place in his life. And the book was just saying to be, very observant on how this guy treats his mother, how he treats his family and all this stuff. And I was just noticing like how he was. And I was like, I saw, like, I give a lot to my family. I give a lot to my friends, and to see someone else do the same thing as me and maybe even more, I was like thinking to myself, who pours into him? Because he gives so much, who pours into, to him? So that's how we met. And ever since then, we've just been together. So before I continue, did you want to say anything about our meeting?
I mean, you pretty much said it all, but just to piggyback off, off of her, I was at the same point in my life too, where I, told myself I want to meet somebody that I can, grow with and know more about. And it just happened that I, was praying, continued praying, and, there she was. And since then, I'm in America here for the past 12 years, 10 years, 12 years together. Beautiful daughter, son, I mean, MBA, I mean, a lot of stuff, business. So yeah, just, keeping it short.
So before y'all go further into the
I was gonna have a question too.
Go ahead. We all do. Go ahead. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
into the story. So Tristan, did you know, or when did you know she was the one? And same question for you, Krista.
You can go first.
I knew she was the one. Just being honest, she was, from America. I was from Guyana, and Guyana is considered a third world country. And after conversing with her for I would say 2 weeks to a month, and then I can't remember when she had to come back to America. And it continued, we continued to stay in communication, and I saw she putting forward the effort to want to know more about me and stuff like that. And I think was when the first or the second time when she came back and actually decided to like move in with us. I have a big family in Guyana, and she actually adjusted her, I would say, lifestyle to, facilitate what I had going on there. I was like, if she is going to do that for me, she is the one. So at that point, I was like, yes, I have to, fully, give this girl or give her, my everything.
Oh. No, it's sweet.
Yeah,
And
because I was
for-
gonna ask something.
Oh, go
similar.
ahead. Mhm.
No,
I
no,
was gonna
Trista, you gotta
ask something
answer.
similar. I was gonna say, how did you think? Because going in, you weren't expecting to dating, but like, how much longer were you on your study abroad trip to say, oh my gosh, I'm starting this relationship, and then I gotta leave? Like, what made you want to say, I want to keep seeing him long distance, and maybe this can work? That's why I was curious. Like, did you ever think like, maybe I shouldn't start dating because, it would be long distance. I gotta go back home, or, like, where was your mind at?
It was a lot going on because, I'm really focused on my studies. Like I'm like, I'm ready to take over the world. And then this relationship happens, right? And I'm used to guys not really being true. I mean, I was young, so at that time, guys were not really, they weren't showing up for me that way. So that's why I was like, let me just focus on me and get myself together. I was like, I don't want to be with a guy who already has everything. And then I move in with him. He put me, I was like, Trista, you need to get yourself together. Like, you got a lot going for yourself. You don't need to rely on anybody. And so it was a lot going on. I'm in a third world country, so there's a lot of poverty there. Now his family, they were a pretty well-off family. Like, I had been watching, there's a show on there, like kind of like BET, it's called Hits and Jams. And I used to keep hearing this commercial come on, and it'd be like, girls going Wild Tuesday and go out to Wildberry and all this stuff. So I'm like, that place is like, wow. Every time I turn on, and it's his family's business, I was like, whoa, like this guy, this is his family, okay. But I knew it was a lot because, I had, my family was like, my friends here, they're like, girl, are you sure? Like, really? And then, my mother, I really have very good sound judgment. And it was just after reading that book, it just opened my eyes up. I really was being a very observant woman at this point. Like, even just to have a friend, like, I didn't even want him to come over. Like, I had already, mind you, I was not attracted to anyone in Guyana. So this was a time where I was not having any, it was nothing going on with me. Okay. And I see this guy, he's like all so sweet. Then he's got this accent, and then his family is like a well-known family. I'm like, you cannot come over here. Like, no, nuh-uh. And then, I'm studying medicine, so I know all about the statistics about STDs. I'm like, I'm good. And so then word got out to even my professors at the school. They're like, uh-oh, we hear you got a date. You dating somebody here now.
Oh
my classmates were all like, girl, you sure? I'm like, I mean, this guy, but what I was seeing is what they weren't seeing. I mean, I'm a smart girl. I'm like, you're not gonna pull no fast one on me. Like, first of all, I'm not bringing nobody to America. What I look like? What do I look like? What y'all talking about? This is not that kind of party. But after I started seeing, like, when he finally, we would talk every day, and then finally, probably like after like 2 weeks to a month, eventually I was like, I did end up letting him come by. And it was only because the guy who I was renting an apartment from, he was a judge. And over there, they have these gas stoves where you got to like actually put gas and hook it up and all this stuff. And I was talking to him, and I'm like, I got to wait till the magistrate comes back, because he had gone to Canada. I'm like, I got to wait till he comes back. I can't cook, so I got to like buy stuff. He's like, no, we're going to go and get you some gas. I'm going to hook it up. And it was just like, after that, it's like he started like coming by, and like, I never expect anything from a man. I just never have been that girl. Like, I could do it by myself. Like, it's great to have you, but like, I don't have to have a guy. Like, I can do what I need to do. But like, he would come by if he ate food. He would, like, if the trash was full, he would just take it out. I'm like, okay. And then like one day and I didn't have a car there, and I needed to go to the grocery store. And he took me and then he dropped me off and then he gave me like $5,000, which is $25.
Correct.
It's a lot of money in Guyana. Okay. Like that's a lot in Guyana because it's 200 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
So he just dropped me off. And as he dropped me off, he just gave me some money. And I was like, it was just things that he was doing. And so one night, you know, I'm like, where's this going? I asked him, I'm like, what's going on?
You asked him. Okay.
I'm like, what's happening here? You know, and he was like, he wanted to continue on. And I'm like, this was a lot. I mean, you know, this isn't just, we just met and we're living in it. Like I was literally, I met him in August and I left in November. So in that short period of time, we connected so well. And of course, my family and friends were like, what are you doing? And I'm like, God sent me there for a reason. You know what I mean? It really was for a reason. Like when I tell you I was at a great place in my life spiritually, we were both at the same exact place. And so when we started realizing like, wow, this is a serious thing that I don't want to live without this. Like this feeling that I'm having, this guy is making me feel like this. He's so supportive, like anything I needed, he was just there. And it was very difficult to part with him. Like it really was. And I was like, that's when I knew like, wow, like this guy, I'm getting emotional thinking about it now, just like being apart from him. Like we do a lot of things together. He's like, he said, I know you're not about to cry, girl. We just celebrated 10 years of marriage.
Yes, kudos.
Wow.
Congratulations.
That's a lot.
Congratulations. Yes.
You know, I mean, we had to deal with the paperwork for the visa, all that stuff. So, you know, like that's a lot of strain on a relationship. It's not just a long distance relationship where you can just hop a flight, because in Guyana, you have to have like Americans, we are so, you know, we take it for granted that we're Americans, because other countries, they cannot come here like that. They have to have, you know, visas, and it's a long process. So this wasn't a typical long distance, like, oh, he lives in South Carolina or Florida. Like this is like continents apart. So it was challenging, but I knew that like when I came back to the US, I was like, I hated Guyana. I'm telling you, I hated Guyana. Like this place, I was like, why did I come here? Right. But then after I came back to Atlanta without him, I was like, man, I'm going back. And the rest is history. Yeah.
Okay. I have a question regarding, and do you think, since I guess this is for Trista, do you think that, because when you said that you usually approach men, right?
Maybe not approach, but I lead it to where
express. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Are you okay with expressing interest first?
I mean, like, I'm not like one of those people where I just see you and we're gonna just take it there. I really like, typically it's somebody I know and I've observed for a while. And, you know, and then, you know, it may just be a suggestive notion, maybe not necessarily aggressive like that, but I knew that I put more effort into trying to make sure that they knew I was the one for them. And it's like, you don't have to do all that, you know, when it's right.
That's all I wanted to hear. You don't have to do all that. Okay. That's all I wanted to know. Let me see. I think I have a question. Okay, so let's talk families. How did you guys' families adjust to the fact that, okay, you know, your family, Kenton, did your family say, okay, well, I don't know if she's coming over here to take my son. Okay, then your mom say, oh, for you, Trista, I'm sorry. If yours, Trista, would they say, oh, I don't think this man coming over here to take this from my daughter, blah, 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 blah. Like, did they ever have any kind of contention, or did it flow?
In regards to my family was cool with it. You know, at some point in your life, you become an adult and you have to leave your parents' home. So, you know, in Guyana, I would say maybe like when you come out of high school, you don't find a lot of people or a lot of individuals going to college. We don't have college over there.
Well, you have university, but it's
not considered like a college. So the minute you get out of secondary school,
which is like high school for us.
That's like 18. Yeah, you embark on going off on your own. You may still live with your parents and stuff like that, like an extended family, but you tend to wander off at that time to do your own thing. So I was at the point where I knew that I was looking for a wife. I was looking for someone to build with. So my mom, she was supportive, and everybody was supportive
now,
of that.
At first, his mom, we tell y'all, I had Sammy's cell phone number and his house number, right? Now, Sammy, he worked at the hospital, and he also worked his sister's the family business too. And so, I don't know, I was trying to call him at home, and I'm calling him Sammy, y'all. I'm calling him Sammy because that's what he told me his name was. His family calls him Kenton, okay? So I called the house like, y'all, I'm 26 years old, scared to call the house because the way his mom, like his father passed away. So his mother is truly the matriarch of the family. Like, I don't know if y'all know about Caribbean mothers, but Caribbean mothers,
we know about Caribbean
mixed. Sammy's mixed. His mother is Amerindian, which is like a native Indian, and his dad was Black. So his brothers and all of them, they all have this they just have they're very beautiful. Like they're mixed and they just have a beautiful, but the matriarch of the family, she's like 4'10", 4'11", but she do not play. You hear me? Ain't no smiles. Ain't no, how you doing? Okay. It's just, she answered the phone. Hello. I was like, may I please speak with Sammy? And they sounded so much alike that I knew that was his mom. She was like, wrong number. Click.
What?
I'm looking at the paper like, did I call the right number? But she was that person where it's like that if you can get past that gate. And so I'm really a connector. So I'm thinking to myself, how can I get to meet this guy's family to see if he's one? Because I can't just base it on him because his family has a lot to do with. Once we started getting serious, I'm like, is this guy ever gonna am I gonna I'm about to be leaving? And I've learned that he takes his time on stuff, but we didn't really have no time. So I needed to see this boy's mom. I needed to see what this lady looked like in the flesh, and so eventually, of course, she hung up with me those first few times. But the way I finally got over there, there's a food called roti. Caribbean people have this roti. It's like a flour type pita type thing, and they use it.
Jamaicans. Yep, they have it. Jamaican too.
Yeah. And so I loved it, but I like to cook, but I didn't know how to make it. And a lot of people don't know how to make it. And so I asked her if she would show me. And at that point, I guess everybody in the family had met me already, his brothers and sisters and stuff. So, his brother and sister, they had met me. So she had been hearing about me. So, I would call and try to be cordial and say hello to her. And then finally I got the opportunity to go and learn how to make roti from her. And it was just like a switch went off because now it was like, so what are your plans? And you guys got to get married. I'm like, oh, she must like me. because she was on board, and his family was very his family is very open. They just give, they're staples in the community. They're well known for, that's what they do. Like, family always comes to her house. They're very loving. I think they're almost like, y'all just can't be letting everybody in. But then my family is very similar now. Like I said, I have pretty good judgment. And, my mother, I asked her this, like, my daughter, I'm like, I would never let Ava go to a third world country like that. Mama, what was you thinking? And she was like, girl, you need to live. And I'm so glad that she allowed me that opportunity. And I met the man of my dreams from that experience, and my family I'm from South Carolina. So I'm a country girl anyway. He's saying I have to adjust to, his lifestyle and all that stuff. But, that's why I was there. The thing about Guyana is a simpler life. So it's not all this extra stuff that you have to deal with. It's just very simple living. And I mean, we had a ball there. And so when he came here, my family welcomed him with open arms. And once they saw what kind of person he was, like, I don't know anybody. I've never met any person to just dislike Sammy. Like, he's just a very likable guy. He doesn't say much. He's always smiling, and he doesn't cause problems, you know? So both of our families welcome both of us. And that's how it's been since the start.
Is it now? How old were you guys when you got married?
25.
Okay, so yeah, I lost track. 28. I was 28 and he was 25.
Oh, she got her younger book.
And that's the other thing. Okay, so this y'all gonna want to hear this part now.
Yep.
So
Sure
after
do.
we were like getting really like good, I'm like he's a prankster. He loved to play jokes on people. Okay. And so at the time, our niece, Nikasi, I think she was like 8 months old or something. And he's like, we're in the car and he like showed me a picture. I was like, who is that? Who is that little baby? He said, this is my daughter. I was like, daughter? What? It was his niece. Okay. So that was okay. I'm like, okay, this guy, he's a jokester. And then one day we're like having a serious conversation. He's like, I've got to tell you something. Now, anytime a person start a conversation, I got to tell you something. I'm like you've been doing good, brother. But yeah, because I've been let down so many times before, you know, I'm like, here we go. What's the thing? What he ended up telling me was he told me he was 25 when we met, right? I'm 26. He told me he was 25, which was a lie. But look, I had my previous relationship, that was like my first time dating somebody younger. And I had already removed the stigma or, oh, this guy is too young, because the previous guy, I never even saw his age. He just was a very mature guy. So I was okay with dating someone younger as long as their values were in alignment with mine. So that was his big dropper, was he was 23 and not 25. But I was like, is there anything else?
Right.
But that was it. You know?
In America, they ain't gonna have no little jokes like this, my baby. Like I said, we meet somebody and they say, guess what? This is my baby. We be like, okay then. I'm just not doing that over here. That ain't no joke these days.
But yeah.
Seriously.
So I mean, it was really a fun adventure, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, it was already a different culture. It was very an exciting time, but to click with somebody and then our birthdays. My birthday's May 10th and his is May 12th. So we're two Tauruses.
Both together.
And it really does work until we're both at that, like, you know, like, see, the good thing about it is I understand the Taurus in him. Mm-hmm. He understands the Taurus in me. Now we can't both be at our Taurus peak at the same time, you know. So, but other than that, we're like, we don't bother anybody. Me and Sammy, we're always just relaxing and chilling.
Yep.
So did you guys always know you were going to come to America? Because it sounded like you went back over there and stayed with his family.
Correct.
When you're telling the story. So can we get that part of the story?
Yeah. So I came back in 2010, which I left in 2009 in November. And then about February, I came back in 2010 because I missed him so much. And I had the option to go to school. The program I was in, I could have done my, I was in my third year. So I could have done my, like the clinical rotations in Guyana. So I could have done that there. So that was what I was going to do. But I realized that I didn't want to practice medicine. Like, I was too compassionate. I had like a patient to die. I was like, I can't do this. But yeah, so I went in a different route. But his family had businesses where I was able to I still remember I was in a dual program. I was going to two schools where, because I was going to a foreign medical school, I was going to this private school in Michigan. So I still was studying over there. I just wasn't doing the medicine part anymore. So I just continued going to school, and just him and I built our relationship because he could not come here. Like, you have to have a visa. You have to show that you're financially stable to come here. There's like a whole bunch of paperwork you have to do in order to file for a visa for a person from Guyana to come here. So We were going to get married in Guyana. And at the time I was so young, I didn't even know about how long you could stay. Like when you're an American, like you get away with a lot of stuff. And so we were wanting to get married, but thank goodness that we didn't get married in Guyana because it would have been a longer process. We decided to do the K-1 visa, which is a fiance visa. So when I came back in 2011, the paperwork had already been filed. And so we knew he was about to have his appointment and all that stuff. So that was really the holdup. He couldn't be here.
And then it was better for us to come here from a financial standpoint, because like she was studying to become a doctor, and a doctor in America, in Guyana, you might be paid maybe like when you converted maybe like $1,000 to $1,500 per month, so it was beneficial to come here, and I would start over, and she would be more established.
See, and I laughed, I chuckled because you say the K-1 is for the fiance, and I watched 90 Day Fiance.
They fiance.
And
I watched 90 Day Fiance.
90 days, like we had 90 days before we could get married.
See what I'm saying?
And
now, mind you,
Kendall
y'all are not
watching-
90 Day Fiance, because if you watch that show, I mean, it's a bit much. I mean, it's entertaining. And I
Kendall
think
in the chat was like, "Oh, this is a full 90 Day
See what I'm
Fiance."
saying? Especially when they heard
I
K1
realized,
visa.
oh my God, people are watching this thing.
K1 visa.
People are
Yeah.
There
Now-
was
now-
there
it
was
could
a
happen.
question in the chat about how many kids you guys had, and I put 2. Was I right?
Yeah,
The
we
two?
have
Okay.
two.
A boy.
Are you guys done?
We have 2. Yeah, boy Mason, he's 8, and Ava, she
She's
is 5.
Are you gonna have any more? Or are you done?
Oh
No,
no,
that
oh,
is
no.
it. I prayed for 2. Everything I prayed for, I prayed for 2. I prayed for a boy first, and then a girl. I got everything. So that is it.
Well, first of all, this guy, he is lucky as HE double hockey sticks. I'm gonna tell you, no. If you have never met, I'm like, we have to go to Vegas because he's so lucky. Like, what are the chances that I go to Guyana and meet this guy? Even his I asked like his cousin, I'm like, this boy's so lucky. He said he's been lucky like this since he was like a kid, since he was like 8 years old. He's been lucky like that. I'm like, he's so lucky, y'all. I mean, he just walk in a place and it'd be Arthur Blank talking about, you want to come over to my house? Or whatever. He's a lucky guy. He's lucky. So
Okay, so with the K-1 visa, you had to come over here, and like you said, she would have already been established. How was that transition for you, being that your wife was going to be more established, and like you said, over there y'all were kind of like well established, your family? Was it like new for you coming to America, being a man and trying to reestablish yourself? Like you over there, I think you said y'all were working in the hospital. Were you were you in school too? Were both of y'all in school, or y'all were just both working at the hospital?
I think I had started online school.
no, we had
right?
applied. So I'm just a planner. I'm just like a person who like, we're not just gonna come to America. We're gonna have a plan. Okay.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, you have to have, like, he was already working as, the thing is about education in other countries, even if you have degrees and certifications, like you still like, because the education systems are different, when you come to the US, you may have to start all the way over. And before, he hadn't had any college experience like that, but he did have some certifications, which he had been working in the hospital. So he had a trade already. And then his family had several businesses. So he was an entrepreneur anyway. Like he comes from a family, like his family has in Guyana, they do gold and diamond mining. So his family has a dredge. And then they also had a bar and restaurant. So, I mean, and then like his brother, he's an engineer. Like he comes from a family that was doing
go-getters.
Yeah. So he was a part of that. But for him, you're right, to come here, we already knew that, okay, well, when you come, you're going to have to go to school. So we had applied for school. He had already been accepted. Like we had everything already set up. And then because he had been doing like patient care tech work at the hospital, he just went and got a certification here. And so I mean, you're not able to do it right away. And I will say about a year, but he worked a lot before he came. He had saved up a lot of money. We had anticipated that for a year, it would take him about a year to get established, because first of all, our last name is Dazzel. It's Dazzel. And they misspelled his name on his paperwork. They spelled it Dazzle, which we get all the time. Oh, they put OI. I thought they had spelled it Dazzle with the LE.
It was OI.
So that set him back a couple more months to get his social security card. Like, you have to get so much paperwork, green card, all this stuff. And when I left earlier, I left like February so that I could get a place and get a car and get all the things I need to get a job. And I actually came back because I had some job interviews lined up, because we knew at any moment he could get this, interview because you have to provide so much documentation, just like everything to show proof that this is not a scam or a sham or whatever, that he didn't pay me or something. Like, they go through a lot. I mean, that's why I just changed my name like this year, y'all, because it was so much paperwork. We did not have a lawyer. We did all of that paperwork, and he got through. And so I came in February, and he actually came to the US July 21st. So
because y'all was definitely playing, and that's quick.
Okay, but I know America.
Okay, so when you said you had to get a car, a place, so you were with your parents? Because you
remember,
went
I was
abroad?
so when I left Guyana, like everything that I left here, I mean, I knew I was going to be gone for like 4 years. I didn't need a car here. I had like a roommate. I didn't have a house. I was 25. I was in school. And then after my lease was up, I went the last couple of months to stay back with my mom for a couple of months before I left to go to Guyana. So when I'm coming, like I literally lived in Guyana for 2 years. Like, I had a place down there. I mean, I was living there, So when I came back here, it's like I had to get all the way established again, so that's
because we know happened. America does not play that. That's what I do know. You can look at 90 Day Fiance and America don't play that. They got 90 days to figure it out. Or you're gonna have
but we already knew we were like, we would have been married already. We would have been married like
90 days.
My mom, I think the reason why she was so flexible on this topic is because when she met my stepfather, I really call my biological father because he raised me. He was Nigerian, and my mother, within 9 months, they were married. So, I don't think that this was such a surprise to her, that you could fall in love and it could really be something for real. If she knew if I was saying this, because I'm not the one to be bringing boyfriends to the house and dating. No,
true that.
Like, I didn't even bring anybody around my family. He was the first person I brought around, like my family. Like,
He was the first I brought home to my family too.
They're so cute. Okay, so very interesting. I think that's cool because you've killed a lot of the rumors or this taken outside of social media and TV, because I do watch 90 Day Fiance every week. Because now they have it now where it's the other way, where the person who's in America goes to the person in the other country. I guess it's easier that way. I don't know.
I will say, I'm sorry, our daughter is like completely interrupting us right now.
It's okay. That's
Hold
what you do when you have a kid. It's cool.
I would let her come on, but her hair she got a lot of hair. Like, Ava, you want to come say
it's
hi?
cool,
Come say hi. Hurry, you got to hurry up though. Come on.
Where is she?
She's coming.
Don't
He's a complete daddy girl.
Ava.
Pretty hair girl.
Excuse her hair. This is hair day for sure.
Yeah. Oh no, but it's pretty though.
This is hair day for sure.
Yeah.
Right, Ava?
Yeah.
Look how she looks. Hi.
We have
Y'all see what I gotta do? Y'all see what kind of hair I gotta deal with? That's a lot of work right there.
Yeah, that's why I said her hair is gorgeous.
Yes.
So ladies, we have a question in the chat for you all. It says, would you guys do the international dating thing?
I knew somebody was gonna ask. I knew. Tanya?
Well, see, Trista's story is very different though, because you were not going abroad to date. You were going abroad to study, and you were pursuing what was best for you. And in the midst of that, you found your husband. or your husband found you. I should say that.
Yes.
So I wouldn't say that it's a no. I wouldn't say I wouldn't date somebody out the country or differently. I think it would just depend on how we met and where I was in my life. Like if I were to say it right now, no, I'm not online trying to date somebody in out the country. No, because I'm not. How would I, I don't know. But like as far as like opening myself up, no, not right now. But if I had that feeling to go out the country, even if we were on vacation and I see somebody or meet somebody, I would be like, oh, okay, because I'm open like that. But I definitely have to meet that person. I know for sure I wouldn't be able to just do
Trust
it.
me, I was the same way. I would never that was the last thing on my mind about even thinking, because I'm like, I never even thought about anybody outside the country, because who's about to do all that paperwork and stuff? Like, that's not, no. And then I feel bad because, I love his family and everything, but I'm not doing that paperwork thing no more. Like, I'm good.
Right.
It's too much. It's a lot. It's back and forth. You make a mistake. So I would have never, but I didn't even think about, when I was there, I wasn't even looking at men like that. Like, it was just like, and they used to do this thing in Guyana where like, they do this thing like, I can't even do it, but they do this hissing call with they thing. And I'm like, ew. And I'm like, ew, but he was such a gentleman, y'all. Like, I could not, it was a totally different perspective. It was something I never expected. And sometimes that's where your biggest blessings come from. And I'm so glad that I put myself out there in that way, but I definitely was focused on myself. Like, it just happened to be that this person, was in my path on my journey,
right.
So I didn't go there with that intention at all. And I'm not that type of person either. That's why my friends and stuff were like, girl, are you okay? Are you sure? I mean, we had so many talks about this. Girl, who? They hadn't even seen this guy. Like, are you sure? My friends, my family, they just love me. But they were like, girl. But then when they met him, they're like, wow, you were right. He is the real deal. He's really, not just here to come to America, because a lot of people do that too,
They sure do.
So you got to be careful with that. Like, I wouldn't just say go do that, because every person in Guyana is not good like that either. So just like you have good and bad people here, you got that everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So Victoria, would you date internationally?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Well, okay, we'll say this. Myself, like Trista, I dated guys when I was in Ghana. Shout out to Ghana. And one of them probably watching. Hey, David. When I was in Ghana, I dated that way. But I think I was so young, I didn't pay any attention to like, oh, this is going to be, I was just like, oh, I'm just having fun. I'm having a great time. Ghana is amazing. The people are very nice and sweet. And I actually wanted to live there. But then when I got back to America, I think it just pretty much put me right on back to social economy with Americans. So it just made me kind of like, and I think, I think by default, I probably will though. Cause I mean, so many people are mixed with so many things now. You meet all these people that you're Jamaican, they're Caribbean, they're African or whatever. And so I'm not going to count you out in that way. Yeah. But I do, especially with the online dating, I think I have to question some of those things. But if God sends somebody, he's going to have to stamp it a few times, maybe like 3 times before I say, okay, because I am going to question, because I watch 90 Day Fiance and I see these people who take advantage of people. Not everyone is like that. And you guys, thank God you guys came out the right way. Amazing. They really should do like a 90 Day Fiance the right way. Boom. You could be on that one.
Right.
It's the right way. Boom. I said, even in my credit if they ever do it. Hello, TLC. So I'm just saying, no, but I'm not out there. I'm not trying to do that. But if I meet somebody, I'm not going to count you out completely. But if I feel like we're not connecting in a conversational way, like if they write a little different, okay, Tanya, we'll just say this. Tanya and I do this all the time. And Maggie, okay. We go online and like people will send messages and they'll say, hey, beautiful, we thank you for that. But hello. So then when they get to talking and it's just like something's not adding up with what does he want? Where is he from? And I'm not gonna lie, in my shallowness at that point, I was judging them like, oh, you're not speaking no English, that kind of thing. But that doesn't mean that I'm counting everyone out that's not American, because we just trying to get the Americans to act right. We don't care, at this point, that's just really what I'm saying. It don't matter where you're from, as long as you are sent from God. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, your intentions gotta be aligned.
And it has to be I'm telling you, God has to stamp it not once, not twice, but 3 times. Then I'll know for sure.
Well, see, we weren't around, like, we didn't start out in the age of like social media. Like,
see what I mean?
Like MySpace was out.
See what I mean?
Like that. But I never did online dating. I never did online dating or none of that kind of stuff. But I had a plan. I was like, I'm 25. I'm like, okay, I want to have kids. I want to be married. I'm like, you got to have a relationship with a man first before you have children. And I'm like, I knew that 30 was approaching and I knew the things I wanted. And I was really laser focused on my goals, seriously. And it just so happened that I wasn't even thinking about a guy, because I'm like, every guy that I was dating, it just was not, I mean, it just seemed like Atlanta, because I went to school at FAMU in Tallahassee.
Oh, well,
when I came back home to Atlanta, it was like Atlanta had changed so much from when I was younger. Yes, I was like, it's so many people here now. Then you don't, when you're looking for a person, you want someone who believes in the same values that you do, as far as like believing in God. And one of my best friend's mom, she had told me, like, girl, you got to write a list down on a piece of paper on what you want in a person. And she's talking about, you got to wear it in your shoe. I'm like, what? Like, but I don't know about the word part, but I did write down the things that I wanted. Like you have to know yourself for one, before you can even, that book, A Knight in Shining Armor, I recommend it for all of you ladies, because it literally talks about helping yourself get together, whether it's your credit, what is it that you want in life? What is it that you want? Like, we have to be whole by ourselves before we can come and join in with somebody else. This guy is not going to solve all of my problems. He's not going to be the person that's going to make me happy. Happiness has to already live inside of me. We're just joining forces, so I just was at a very, I think it was a very special place. It was a very sacred time in my life, because it really was spent where I was getting to know myself and I was getting to know God, and I was actually building my discernment to see the things that God wanted me to do. And it just happened this way. I just put all my trust in him.
God is good.
Man, look, I'm gonna answer.
I'm about to say, I need you to answer your question. Hello, this is coming right on back, Maggie.
So I'm the type of person that people are probably like, no, Maggie, you wouldn't. But I went abroad and studied in Spain for a semester in college. Correct. And so I dated and talked to Spanish men. I was in Italy. Italians love some Black women.
They sure do.
I'm a tall, bigger girl. So they was like, what is she? They knew I wasn't African, but they really didn't know where I was from, because it was a lot of Africans. So anyway, so I've always been open. And I also, prior to like turning 30, 31, I would have, like you, I would have went to any country and stayed for years or a year and a half just to experience the culture and learn or whatever. Now, being 36, I don't see myself being with somebody. I just don't. Learning me, but I've always been open, and I will remain open. But that whole meeting somebody and 90-day fiance thing now, I don't really see it happening. But that's
anything could happen though. That's what Kevin.
Anything can happen. That's what I said. Anything can happen.
You never know.
Kevin Garnett said anything is possible. Anything is possible. It is, and I think that's what we're not trying to block anybody out. Because if he comes and he's everything that God said he was going to be for me, then hey, we good to go.
But it may not come in a package that you think is supposed to come in.
You're right. Which is why I said it got to be stamped 3 times.
Because I'm going to tell you, I'm used to dating, I was a personal trainer. I'm dating, big old, strong big legs and all this stuff. And this guy, I'm like, man, he is so cute. But them legs are so
Terrible.
Them legs got you
But
married.
you know what?
Whatever.
Those legs, it don't matter. Them legs have been helping me through school, helping me through raising 2 kids, helping me grow and develop as a person. Like those things that I was holding on to that were holding me back, like it just like when you put these different like limitations on yourself, like you don't know what God has in store for you, you know, so
Amen.
you never know.
Right.
So,
And
Maggie, anything else in the comments?
No. They're no.
Okay, so can you guys plug your businesses? That's what we do.
Oh, can I ask one question, Victoria, before they plug?
Sure.
What would you leave with the singles and the married couples? Because we have both.
We have both.
And chiming in. What's either one word of wisdom or something that you would leave with both, married and single, male and female perspective?
Well, you know, relationships are not easy, period. You know, one of the things that I know, like this relationship is just like any other relationship. We have our good days, we have our bad days. As an individual, you're going to grow. Like even though we're one individually, in 7 years from now, Victoria, you're not going to be the same Victoria with the same perspectives, because you're going to have different experiences. Things are going to happen to you. So I've grown from the time that I've been with him, but trusting God is definitely at the center of our relationship. We pray together, we go to church together, we've been online going to church together. You know, God is very present. And even if we're like, oh, you're getting on my nerves today or whatever, we just gotta go. He come in his studio and I just go do my thing and cool off. And, you know, you have to understand and grow. I mean, we've been together for 12 years and there have been moments where it's like, you know, it's definitely been challenging, you know, and we've overcome those challenges because we have kept God in the center of it all. Any advice from?
For me, you know, you have to know, you know, yourself and know what you want in life, and continue to pray, put God first, and know that you're going to evolve as time, you know, goes by. And like for me, I've evolved and I've learned to understand myself more. So, you know, and then it comes down to compromise. You know, in any relationship, you're going to have disagreement, but at the same time, you have to go back to like day one, you know, when you met this person and all of the good times. And as I say, you know, you have to know what you want. And for me, I value my family, you know, and I prayed for everything that I've gotten. So I know that, you know, God is continuing to work and he's continuing to make things happen. So, you know, that is what I would have to say, you know, God, you're going to evolve, know yourself, and, you know, compromise.
Amen.
Thank you.
We received that. And I'm just going to say this before y'all plug your business. Just like these couples that we have on this show, God is no respecter of persons. Just the way that God is giving these people these relationships, the loving, he can do it for you. So if you're looking for that, if you ain't looking, then it's cool. But if you're looking for that and you're looking for somebody to come in and be your other or whoever, God is not a respecter of persons. Your person is coming, by the way. Just want to let you know. Okay, so go ahead and plug y'all's business.
Well, I am a coach. I'm an empowerment coach, life coach, and career coach. And I love helping people to, you know, remove any of those obstacles or distractions that are holding them back from accomplishing their goals. And you can follow me at Coach Trista or Trista B. Dazzel on Instagram and Facebook. I'm always pushing for, you know, motivational and positivity and giving you a lot of tips and tricks that will help you if you're stuck trying to figure out what your next moves are, if you don't know what your passion and purpose is, if you don't know how to utilize or manage your strengths, you know, so that you can live the very best life that you should be living. Reach out to me. Right now I have a free or a complimentary assessment out there. It's called Standout. If you're interested in learning more about yourself and your top 2 strength roles, you can also find it at my website at allaboutcoaching.net. It's if you on your phone, you just got to scroll down to the bottom, but there's a free assessment. And if you want me to go over the results with you, just DM me. and just let me know if you want any assistance on, accomplishing those goals. And you, Kenton?
Thank you.
So I'm an entrepreneur. I have, several businesses, but I would lead with, Dazzel Production and Media. I'm a co-owner along with Trista. We offer an array of production services, from cell phone video all the way up to, high-end, big cameras and stuff like that. So, any type of branding, commercial, photography, podcasts, anything along the line of production, you can always reach out to us. It's Dazzel Production on Instagram and all, other platforms.
I'm gonna make sure I put it on the chat and everything when I boost the video.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
So
you guys so much.
no, we thank you. Thank
Yes.
you guys.
Thank you.
We appreciate you for being open, honest. And you know what? I keep understanding, everybody keeps saying the same thing. Relationships are hard work, but it's all about who wants to stick in it. It's hard work. It's not easy. And on any level, and they've been married 10 years and they're trying to tell you guys, you got your ups and your downs. So we thank you guys for joining us today. We always have a great time. We thank you guys. Don't forget to check out the two lovely couple with the Dazzel Productions. Say it again.
Dazzel Production.
Dazzel. Okay.
Yeah.
Dazzel Production. Yes. And Trista.
And all about coaching, but you'll find me at Coach Trista online.
Coach Trista, Trista. Okay, ladies, tell everyone goodbye. Have a great week. Oh, hold on. My birthday is coming up on Tuesday. So hello.
Happy birthday.
Hey. Yes.
And what's your cash app so they can bless you?
Hello. Yes, my cash app. Hello. It's the cash sign Victoria LELLE 14. Cash app. That's what I do because I want to bless others. Just like you bless me. So next time you see me, I'll be closer. Oh, Lord, I'll be another age, but I'm grateful for you guys. And we will see you guys. Don't forget to like the page, love the page, comment. Thank you guys for being a part of the conversation, and repost it and share it. Find us on all social media. Waiting Game Chapter 35. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on YouTube, Victoria L, whatever you want to find. I'll be there. Thank you guys. Be safe in this trying times, and make sure you just clean your hands. That's all we're gonna say. All right, see you guys later.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.